Recently, I came across an article titled, "Why Customers Waited 8 Hours for In-N-Out Burger," which is f***ing insane and leads me to the question,
what are you thinking?
Now, I love In-N-Out Burger as much as the next guy who has smoked weed and visited California, but is it worth an
8-hour wait in line?
The answer is a simple and loud
hell no!
But because you might not just blindly agree with me in the matter, I brought in a guy who's really bad with graphs to explain why that's the case. So the value of a burger and most foods can be broken down with a simple fucking calculation, which is, let's go, cost on x-axis and fucking quality on y-axis. Then we're gonna do a dotted line, which happens to assume, which is a wrongful assumption, that the more you pay, the better a fucking burger you'll get. Not the case, but that's what we're gonna assume here because that's how it should be. Now let's say the Big Mac is right here in the middle. It costs like $6. I don't know where the fucking dollar sign goes. And it's pretty good, good. Let's put that right in the middle, Big Mac. Now let's go to Shake Shack. Put that up a little bit more there because it costs more, but it's also a lot better, I would say. I think it's what, $13 or some shit? Where In-N-Out is special is that it's down here in price, but it's almost in line with Shake Shack in terms of quality. A little bit lesser, but still pretty fucking good. An outlier to the positive. In-N-Out is an outlier to the positive, where then you go all the way up here, outlier to the negative, and it's Gordon Ramsay burger. Fuck that place. Don't ever fucking go there. This was $26. In-N-Out is like $4. $4.60, I think? $4.69, let's go with. And it is significantly better. It should have been moved down maybe like a hair just to further emphasize the point that it's not as good as Shake Shack. But it is better than McDonald's and for cheaper. But the problem here is that value, the cost, kind of goes out the shitter under the assumption, the correct assumption, that time is more important than money. Because you can always make more money, you can't get your fucking time back. So now, that brings the value of this right back down to fucking Big Mac levels. What that idiot meant to say is it would actually bring the value over here underneath Shake Shack, an outlier to the negative. But I already told you he's shitty at graphs, so give the guy a break, all right? But what if I were to tell you that you could get all the way up here in terms of quality and have your value right around In-N-Out level? What would you say then? Secret to this is home. You fucking make it at home. Burgers aren't that hard. They just require a series of good choices. And today I'm gonna tell you the choices that I make to lead me to a burger that is better than In-N-Out for just as cheap. Let's do it. Now, like with any recipe, these choices get started in the store. First, I'm going to head over to the cheese aisle and get my favorite cheese, Cooper Sharp White American. This up-and-coming cheese has gotten really popular because any place who makes really good cheesesteaks uses it. It melts well, and it tastes better than normal American. And I know what you're thinking. What about Kraft Singles? They're a classic! Ha-ha! And I'm going to give these a big, fat fuck no. Kraft Singles just aren't very good American cheese. Plus, if you look at the price, it is actually more expensive both by unit price and by total price than the Cooper Sharp by about 60 to 80 cents. Now, our next choice.
The buns.
Now, most people would say Martin's potato buns are the best choice here, and I'm not necessarily mad at that, though I don't agree. The seeded ones are the best if you're going to get something. The price is pretty good at $4.59 for 8, but I prefer to go over to the bakery and look for a nice brioche. I like the softness and the taste, and because of the butter content, you can toast them easily without applying any fat. I could also sometimes go for the just regular brioche bread and make a patty melt, but let's not get into that today. Instead, let's go off to procure our next item, which is
the meat.
Now, a lot of this is going to come down to personal preference. I've had good luck with these burger patties from Schweed & Sons, and also the Pat LaFrida ones are pretty good. I wasn't a big fan of the Wahlburgers, but these are an all right option. The second option, and probably the best one, is to get your blend of meat that you want and bring it over to the butcher and have him grind it, but I don't feel like socializing with people most of the time. So I'll look at these organic packs of meat and typically settle on an 85-15 or an 80-20 for a nice, fatty, flavorful organic burger that is about $5.69 for 3 double cheeseburgers it comes out to. All right, now we're off to find our next and final item, which is
Those sexy motherfucking pickles.
Clausen's are a classic. I grew up on them and I still love them, but in the most recent years, I've switched over to these Grillo pickles just because they have a freshness that I think can't really be beat. Unfortunately, they didn't have the sliced one, so I just went with these Clausen pickle slices to make things easy. Thankfully, I narrowly avoided buying bread and butter pickles by accident. A lot of people love those things, but I hate them. All in all, that shopping trip took me about 15 minutes with filming and dicking around in the store and getting food for my cat and all sorts of other shit. And I probably spent like $18. I'll check the receipt to get the official number for you guys so that I'm not dicking around here. But yeah, pretty quick and painless, and I wasn't just sitting in an In-N-Out line with my hope dying. Where the fuck is my car though? All right, so now that we got our shopping done, it's time to work on our preppables. The onions, you have a few options. You could use dehydrated onions like this. This is what like McDonald's does. They just put these into a little cup, add some water to them, and boom, they're rehydrated onions. Nostalgic taste, but they're not something that I go with very often or really ever, to be honest with you. A lot of the specialness of burgers is the nostalgia that they bring to the table, so any changes you want to make to this, I fucking full-fledged encourage, because they would just help bring back your memories, which are different than mine. You may like what they bring to something like the Big Mac, and they are very affordable and they are super easy. You could also make your burger like the Oklahoma fried onion burger, which is super trendy these days. That's just where you cut the onion thin, add it to the patty as you're smashing it, but that's not my favorite way to enjoy the onion. I like it a little bit more slow cooked. I just cut it decently small like that, add a little pinch of sugar to kind of speed up the caramelization process, pinch of salt, touch of oil. Now just cook these on medium-low heat, stirring every 5 minutes or so. All right, now it is time to make our special sauce while the onions cook. I always say that special sauce recipes are like buttholes because everybody has their own and they mostly look the same. I'm gonna show you how to make mine. It's pretty much the same fridge door condiment cocktail that everybody else makes with a few added little things that you might not always see. Well, I'm gonna start out by chopping some chives just because I have them. If you don't have them or like them, then don't include them in this because I normally don't. Roll them in a paper towel, start cutting them nice and small. Add a little splash of our pickle juice to those. Spoon regular mayo. Spiciness, I'm also gonna add this John DeMint's cherry pepper mayo that I've been obsessed with lately. They sent this over to me. It's like a Philly-based condiment company, and that shit is so good. Small scoop of Dijon, splash of Wash Your Sister, a hefty squirt of ketchup. That's gonna add nice color and also the sweetness that I like. We just bring that all together, some garlic, salt, and pepper to it. No measurements, gang, because as I mentioned, this is your party. You can change this up however you want and make it your special sauce, your own brand of bottle. At this point, our onions are looking pretty good. Now it's time to cut and shape our burger patties. Most people will do balls. I like to do more of like a puck because I found that it has a better surface area for seasoning, and also they maintain their shape a little bit better when you smash them down. All right, now let's go make our burgers. So I know what a lot of you guys are gonna say here, and that is,
oh wow, it's really easy for you to talk about making a value burger when you are on a $500 griddle.
but just so you know, before I ever had anything like this, I was flipping fucking baking sheets over an open fire and just using that to make smash burgers. Or I got some shitty $30 griddle from Walmart. Or I was just super lazy and I would fucking smoke out our entire 1-bedroom place in the middle of the night while Michelle's fucking coughing as I'm making 2 a.m. burgers in a cast iron skillet in our kitchen with poor ventilation. So I say all that to say this, if I can do it, you can do it too. Here we got all their mises in their place. We got our burgers, we got pepper, salt, buns, onion, sauce. There's a separate spoon for each the onions and the sauce, and then also those little tongs, which are for our pickles. We got our cheese, which is already open, our smashula, which is already covered in parchment, and we got our side beer, which is perhaps the most important part of this whole entire fucking operation. Without this, the wheels fall off, motherfuckers. Pepper our burger, then salt them. Tastes extra delicious if you salt them. It tastes at least 25% better. Most of the time I like to get our burger buns kind of started on their toast here. I don't add any butter because these are brioche buns, so they have a lot of butter in them. So I can dry toast them and they'll also hold up to the sauce and the grease of the burger and everything else a little bit better later. Take the top bun, put it like that, flip the bottom, top like that, flip the bottom, Top like that. Prepping ourselves for later. Put these on a plate to the side. Wipe away some of our bun shrapnel. Now it's time to start smashing our burgers. There. And I just use the pepper grinder. All right, and by the time you're done pressing the last one, the first one's probably already done. Some salt, pepper, flipperooski, beautiful crust, everything we flipped. Gets a dosage of our beautiful onions. And then top with our Cooper Sharp cheese, which is just a wonderful cheese, but always such a pain in the ass to tear apart. Okay, I'm gonna make a mess of these. I'd rather mistorn cheese than overcooked burgers. As I put the cheese on, I start stacking. Now here's where I like to also start taking some of that special sauce, placing it on these top buns, placing it on our burgers. At this point, I'm gonna take our bottom buns, which also have a little special sauce on them, lay those on top to start steaming. In here, take a much needed beer swig. Off into each one. And just like that, you have some beautiful, better than In-N-Out burgers ready for consumption for you and your family. As I mentioned before, this is your journey, guys. Create your own adventure. So if you want to add lettuce, tomato, if you like that stuff on your burger, go for it. Me, I think it makes it kind of a structural disaster. Everything starts sliding around, it starts going to shit. I like to just eat my salad separately and then enjoy this fucking beautiful burger on its own. And for fries, I didn't make any. I was kind of a low roller with this today. But McCain 5-minute fries. They're gonna be better than In-N-Out fries, and you don't have to fucking get out peanut oil, put it into a fucking thing, soak your French fries after you cut them nice and thin in salt water for a certain amount of time, and then fry them twice in 350 to 375 degree oil. You can do that if you want to. Back at the fucking it's more important than money conundrum. And these things are pretty damn good, surprisingly, and they are ready in 5 minutes, so. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you make some fucking awesome burgers after this video. In-N-Out, Five Guys, Shake Shack, ain't shit compared to that. And just so you guys know, I did all the itemization of all the numbers from the receipts, except for the sauce, because I'm not calculating that, measuring out each condiment, fuck that. So I just put it at 30 cents per serving. I rounded all these up so you guys couldn't call me a bullshitter. And the grand total would be $4.13. So, not only are we better than all of those burger places, we're also cheaper than In-N-Out by like 50 to 60 cents. So, we win. Cheers. Have a great one. Like, subscribe. Tell me how stupid my face is in the comments down below. I appreciate you guys. Bye!